Well, if I'm a first home buyer, I might look at this plan and say, well, I've got to still save 5% before I can access anything out of my super to contribute to a new home. Under Labor's plan, I only need to save 2%, and they'll give me 40% in this shared ownership arrangement. So could it be that as a first home buyer, I'd be gravitating towards the Labor policy?
I think that's highly unlikely, Rita. Labor's housing policy fell apart in 24 hours. Firstly, people don't want Anthony Albanese to own 40% of their home. They don't want Anthony Albanese at the kitchen table. We had the Deputy Leader of the Labor Party, Richard Marles, confirm that if you got a pay rise and all of a sudden were earning above the thresholds that they had in place, that, you know, the eviction notice would be in the mail. Do you have to get permission from Canberra every time you want to go to Bunnings and buy a tin of paint to improve the property? Because let's remember, they would own 40% of your property. I think in truth, Rita, we've seen Australians don't want the government to own a proportion of the home. They want to own their own home. And this policy enables people to own their own home using their own money that they've worked hard for, money that's their money in super. Doesn't belong to the fund manager, doesn't belong to the government. It's money that they have worked hard for. They get to use that money when they need it to help with the deposit. And then once they own that home, they can responsibly reinvest it back in super. So they've got their home and they've got those retirement savings that haven't been diminished. It really is the best of both worlds. And I am very confident, Rita, in saying to you that it would be a very clear choice for first home buyers which scheme they would use.
But is it all a little too late, too little too late? Can this policy turn around the coalition's fortunes?
Well, Rita, this policy builds on what we've done for 3 years, which is have a real laser-like focus on first home buyers. We put in place the Home Guarantee Scheme, the First Home Super Saver Scheme, the Home Builder Program, most of which were opposed by the Labor Party. We've assisted more than 300,000 people into a home in just the last 3 years. We've got first home buyer levels to their highest for nearly 15 years. This builds on that. And there'll be a very clear choice for Australians on Saturday. This fits within the context of a broader economic recovery that Australia is seeing. And I think it will be a reminder, not just for first home buyers, but a reminder for all Australians that, the Labor Party and an opposition leader has shown very little interest in the economy, indeed very little knowledge of the economy. He's not someone that can be trusted in these very uncertain times, and certainly has shown today in criticising this policy that he would rather stand with the big fund managers, the big unions, while we're standing with first home buyers. So I'm very comfortable, Rita, with people going into a ballot box on Saturday knowing that we're standing with Australians who aspire to own a home and will be attacked by very, very big vested interests for doing that, while the Labor Party stand with those vested interests. And I think it'll be a very clear choice for Australians.
Michael Sukkar, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thanks so much, Rita.